trade show floor at Rapid 2023 in Chicago. I have a great group of folks here we're going to talk about. This is with the Additive Manufacturing Green Trade Association, or AMGTA. To my right, yes, that's right, I have Jose Crespo, who is a board member as well as the general manager of QC Labs. And immediately next to Jose is Miss Sherry Monroe, who is the executive director of the AMGTA. Just a year she's been on the job, so she's got lots she's been doing, and she's been traveling all over the world, and I can't wait to hear from her. And then finally we have the distinguished Miss Rosa Koblenz, who is the VP of Sustainability and Communications for Stratasys, and she's joining us from across the pond as well. So here you have in front of you three of the most important people in sustainability as it relates to additive. These folks are leading the movement in what it means to quantify what sustainability is in additive manufacturing. And so, as you know, it's gotten more and more important that we make things in a more sustainable manner. And my friends here at AMGTA are trying to help us with that road mapping activity, and really thinking through what are the right ways, what are the right approaches, how do we talk about it, how do we document it, and how do we not be false or greenwash what this industry could be, and certainly figuring out where we are at the moment. So I would like to kick it off with Sherry. Sherry, in your 1 year at AMGTA, we just had a fabulous event yesterday, the annual meeting. It was truly remarkable, classy affair all the way around. So much energy in the room. Can you just reflect on the last year at AMGTA, where you guys are today, and where, we'll talk about where you're headed.
Right. So the last year has just been incredible. We're really engaging with our members. Our members, like Rose's company, Stratasys, Jose's company, QC Labs, are really demonstrating their industry leadership and their real commitment to sustainability. And they're doing it in big ways across the industry, engaging other companies in our mission of what we're doing. And, the last year has just been fantastic. You were at our event yesterday. When I was there the first day last year, just the energy around this group of people. This is a group of people that are people and organizations that are interested in innovation and sustainability, about moving things forward in a transparent and a credible way, and it's just a great collaboration.
Oh, that's awesome. And I guess I want to also say that this is a global organization. The people that are there are professionals and practitioners from across the world who are trying to make this industry be more sustainable and represent what that could look like. So I don't even know what the percentage, the ratio was of, different nations that were represented, but it was truly one of the most diverse globally, I think, groups that I get to interface with. So I would like to hear from you, Jose, about what motivated you at QC Controls to be involved in this organization.
Well, we're definitely inspired by the mission of the AMGTA. What we find is that different industries such as aerospace and marine are a little reluctant to adopt AM as fast as we would like to see it happen. So the AMGTA's mission is to fund these studies that are gonna prove out the sustainability and hopefully gain adoption. And we're just passionate about it. We want to see AM grow into what we think it can become, and that's why we're a part of it.
What's QC Control's role in that? How do you guys bring? What do you bring?
So QC Laboratories, we're an inspection house, we're a testing house. Our customers are mostly additive manufacturers, and whenever they want to put their parts on a vehicle, a transport vehicle, an aircraft, a ship, a submarine, a train, they need to get their parts qualified. There are certain standards that are required for that, and we verify those standards. So we provide certificate of conformance or an FAA certification that makes their parts usable in the industries that they're targeting.
That is one of the most important things that we have right now a gap in. you know, the ability to qualify and certify additively made parts or any kind of part, but the additive stuff, it's really a challenge. And I'm sorry I misspoke about the name of your company, QC Labs. I apologize. So Rosa, over to you. Like, I'll say this, the first conversation I ever had about sustainability in additive was with Rosa. And it blew my mind how she was thinking about sustainability in the context of her role at Stratasys. Could you talk a little bit about that role at Stratasys and then how the AMGTA is filling a void in the industry?
Yeah, so Stratasys is the leader in polymer additive manufacturing. And for us, it was really something that was born from within the company. Our employees, it's part of their DNA in innovation, but they were crying out to be more sustainable. They had ideas, patents, lots of great ways to push the industry forward in a more sustainable way. We call it beyond compliance at Stratasys. We coined it and we trademarked it mindful manufacturing. The idea came from, it's kind of a mix between a customer discussion with the employees about how do we look at products and processes in a new way and redesign them, where we take all the benefits of additive manufacturing and leverage them to the benefit of people and the planet. So it was like this very big, lofty mission that we turned into a plan. And as we were working into the details of the work plan and setting the foundations for GRI reporting and for structuring steering committees within the company and really turning it into something, you said, not greenwashing, part of the roadmap, part of the DNA in the company. You know, this was led by Yoav Seifer, our CEO, who's super passionate about sustainability. And the AMGTA approached us at the time. And we seemed like it was a perfect match to join this organization and to take the mission forward, not as Stratasys, but as the entire AM industry. You know, Sherry did a session recently about growing the AM pie. Okay, I call it co-opetition, you know. But
Yes.
let's come together as competitors around a shared idea for how we tell the story in data, Jose, of how additive manufacturing is good for our customers and their businesses, and how together we make a better world.
Because there has to be a business case for doing things better, right? It can't just be, oh, we're being so virtuous that, you know, we're going to do this and it's going to cost, 10x more or whatever. Okay, we've got to know where we stand with it. And I love the quantification that you all are undertaking in real time. I'm wondering if, Sherry, you could talk a little bit about the R&D portfolio that you all have just undertaken and shared a little bit yesterday.
Sure. So part of our plan to achieve our mission is commissioning research, right? If companies are looking to get into additive and want to understand the environmental benefits of it, they need to be quantified. It can't just be that we think this is going to be a better process or we think it's going to have a better impact. It really needs to be quantified because that's the only way we're going to increase acceptance and adoption. So we're partnering with our member organizations to put together research projects that are real projects of real parts being manufactured, where we can quantify those, the impacts, where it's better, where it's worse, be transparent about it, independent research with qualified organizations, so that companies can have that comfort of knowing what they're getting into, what this can do for them. And as Rosa said, there's so much potential for AM to have a huge impact, and we really want to see that happen and really be able to push that forward.
So I think what I felt in the room yesterday at the event, you were some 50 odd members, right? 50 members at the moment, growing leaps and bounds. I remember where we were last year and this year, just the energy was still wonderful, but there were a lot more people. And the thing that kept coming up for me was how much more we need to share among ourselves and the co-opetition, but like, it's hard to do that, right? It's challenging because you think I'm just going to do this over here and I might send out a press release and I might do a great presentation or keynote. But then I really admire both what AMGTA is doing, but also what Stratasys is doing specifically to kind of share the rubric, to share the way you're communicating. And then those, especially those smaller businesses, right? Helping them have the same language, helping them understand. Can you share a little bit about how you approached this project a few years ago when you finally did your very first report?
So first of all, I'll say about the business case that there's a nexus for sustainability where it meets profitability. There's endless number of use cases. We will only do the use cases that fit into that niche, because that's where you unlock all of the value. And a lot of this comes in the business world from participating in collaboration with our users and customers, much like it does with the AMGTA, aligning the entire organization and the entire industry around this shared mission. Now, the big idea now that we have together, and this is Sherry's work and our work on the board at the AMGTA, is to take what we inherently know about additive manufacturing and put the numbers around these use cases. So that's our big mission right now, is to tell the scientific story around the additive advantage for everyone, so that this technology is adopted in the way that is best for the next generation. So this is really a work of passion for my company, for the companies on the board, and for the AMGTA at large.
Yeah, well, I think that, as a nation, I'm going to speak in America right now for just a moment. We certainly lag Europe and the Middle East on thinking about sustainability. There's a whole lot of reasons around that we don't need to go into, cultural and otherwise, but I really felt a change in the room where folks were interested in that. And I'm wondering, do you feel there are any maybe policy things that might be useful for AMGTA members at any level, whether, let's just talk United States at the national level. We're always looking at policies that can be supportive, not necessarily regulation, though regulation happens. We like to stave that off as long as possible, I think. But in general, are there any policy ideas that you felt have come out of AMGTA that we might want to explore over the next year?
Well, I think the government can play a really important role, especially in the U.S. Some of the work that's being done around acceptance and certification of parts related to military, and really the certification of parts throughout the supply chain, because that's one of the bottlenecks that happens. And I think just a push for more sustainable manufacturing, and viewing it in that, as Rosa said, when you can combine profitability and effective business with sustainability, that's sort of that sweet spot where you can get everybody on board with that. And the way we view it at the AMGTA is sustainability is not a separate issue, and it doesn't need to feel like taking your medicine.
Yeah.
It's the same strategic drivers any business is looking for anyway. Less energy consumption that you have to pay for, less source material you have to pay for, less scrap that you have to pay to do something with. All of those things are the same strategic drivers. Fewer parts sitting in a warehouse that you're air conditioning just to throw the parts away in 3 years because they weren't needed. Those are the same strategic drivers anybody's looking for anyway to run an effective business, and those are also major sustainability drivers. So the more you can put those together, this is the way businesses need to be running.
Yeah. And as Americans, this is, a story of national resiliency as well. There is the use case and the possibility of onshoring, reshoring. This is, way bringing manufacturing home, production on site, on demand. Like, this is what the technology allows. And with the data from the AMGTA, we want to push adoption in ways that will support America as a nation as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think sustainability is a conscious decision that we all make every day in our business practice, right? It shouldn't be a department within the business. It should be worked into the framework, right? And I think that we're doing a good job at promoting that and bringing awareness. And I think our customers are doing a good job in demanding it more and more we're going to see a lot more of that coming. So I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Well, I want to thank all of you for showing us the way as a nation and as an industry for how to make this happen. And I can't wait to be at your next event a year from now and see what we can accomplish together. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for having
Thank you.
us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.